So this week, there's no edits, there's no Simon Says Wrestling behind my back. It's just wrestling talk. There's not even an intro. But yeah, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. We're just gonna go through a few things before the Royal Rumble. Obviously, this coming week. A few standout points having come out of Saturday night's main event. Huge congratulations to Sami Zayn. But in my personal opinion, there's no way that Sami Zayn is getting the title off of Drew McIntyre this Sunday. I've seen this story play out before. I've seen how Sami Zayn is amped up to be the underdog that's eventually gonna get the title and live his dream to become Universal Champion. There's no way he's taking that title off of Drew McIntyre this Sunday. I love Sami Zayn. I would love for him to eventually win a championship, a huge championship one day. But during this McIntyre era, I don't think Sami Zayn is getting anywhere close to that title. Also, a small thing that I noticed within the shows is the involvement that Drew McIntyre has with superstars that are basically gunning for his Universal Championship. And it's such a refreshing scene to see a champion who's actually not surrounded by obviously people who do his dirty work for him, but who does his own dirty work, who's basically involved in every single competitor that might be coming to face him. I love the segment where Drew McIntyre went to each and every competitor on that Friday night SmackDown before it was basically announced that, well, basically before the tournament took place and we had the four finalists that took place in the SNME. Drew McIntyre was involved with each and every competitor in that segment. There wasn't any how do I put it? It's refreshing to see a universal champion who is a heel who's handling his own business. That's basically what I'm saying. There's no involvement from his family. There's no involvement from any of his friends trying to egg him on. He's basically the main focus of the Universal Championship. And this is what I love about the Drew McIntyre era. Drew McIntyre is going to make it his business to stop and to beat down anyone who's a threat to his Universal Championship. He's going to make it his business to be in that ring when anybody mentions or even tries to go after his Universal Championship. So I love it. I love that about Drew McIntyre. And we're getting Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble. The stats never lie. Sami Zayn has never beaten Drew McIntyre in a one-on-one match. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. They might build up to a point where we try to think that he might eventually win the Universal Championship, or Drew McIntyre is probably going to do some underhanded stuff to retain that title. So for me, my money's on Drew McIntyre for the Royal Rumble. Now, the 30-man Royal Rumble itself, it has a week to build. We haven't had anything about Roman Reigns. We haven't had anything about Jay or Jimmy Uso. So the following episode of Monday Night Raw is probably going to let us know going forward what the way forward is. But for me personally, I'm still saying the winner of the 2026 Royal Rumble is Seth Rollins. I don't know how he plans to come back. I don't know how he plans to come back. But if he can enter at number 30 and win the Royal Rumble, and like I've been saying, it's a win-win situation with Seth Rollins winning the men's Royal Rumble, because then you have history with both CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. But I don't think he will be going after Drew McIntyre. Instead, he will be rather going after CM Punk, who Seth Rollins swore on his grave that CM Punk would never be a world heavyweight champion if Seth Rollins is still in the company. But also, what I had predicted for the year 2026 was the fact that CM Punk needs to lose the World Heavyweight Championship to Braun Breaker. Then we have Braun Breaker versus Seth Rollins at the main event of night 1 of night 2. But it seems like we're probably going to be going in the direction of CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. That's in my head. Obviously, the WWE will book it however they see it, but that's just my opinion of how I would love to see it booked for the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes might be the road to WrestleMania Night 2. But like I said, for me personally, I feel that Cody Rhodes needs to go through a struggle. The struggle that he's going through right now with Jacob Fatu, it has somehow made and given an edge to Cody Rhodes. Jacob Fatu has given an edge to Cody Rhodes that I think he has lost in the longest of time. And Jacob Fatu is basically seasoning Cody Rhodes in a way, because it was bland. It was getting vanilla at some point. It still is to a certain extent because it's still the comeback kid, the fight back, um, overcome every obstacle that you ever come in. He needs to hit an obstacle that he cannot overcome, and I think Jacob Fatu is the man to do that. The same way that Jacob Fatu has cost Cody Rhodes the Universal Championship, he needs to cost him away in the Royal Rumble. So basically, Jacob Fatu needs to be Cody Rhodes' obstacle going to WrestleMania, going into the Elimination Chamber, and maybe even going into Survivor Series after WrestleMania. Who knows? But for now, I like the pairing of Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu. Jacob Fatu is an unpredictable cannon who has so much charisma and so much character to himself that he can rub some of that off of Cody Rhodes. And I love the fact that they brought him back into the main event scene to feud with the former Universal Champion. So it's an interesting feud that I didn't have my cards on for this year, but I'm loving it so far. And on a positive, more upbeat tone, the women's tag team division is totally heating up. The division is, I think, at its hottest that it's ever been, ever since it's been like created in the WWE. A huge shout out to Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, who retained the tag team championships against Roxanne Perez and Liv Morgan at Saturday night's main event. But they have competitors waiting for him in Julia, and it's very interesting to see someone who's a United States champion in Julia going after the tag team championship with her associate. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all pans out. And I love the fact that they're including each and every team from the SmackDown and the Raw. Now I just need the NXT women's division included in the circle to make it grow a bit bigger. But the same way that the tag team division is elevating, the singles competitors women division is taking a bit of a knock. And Jade Cargill officially has a first challenger, so it seems, for the women's championship. It's been an underwhelming title run, and it's not because of Jade Cargill. It's not because of Jade Cargill doesn't have an edge to her. She doesn't have the character to it. No, it's because she doesn't have any competitors in the division. There's a lot of people trying to go after Jade Cargill, saying you are not defending the title, you are not going into matches, you're not going into feuds. Who is she gonna feud with? Obviously, Jordan Grace has been introduced into the picture. But for me personally, I don't think Jordan Grace has the heat. I don't think she has the heat, the momentum to go after Jade Cargill. She obviously just came onto the roster and on SmackDown, and the first feud that she goes into is with the champion. And obviously the champion has been dominant throughout her title reign. As short as and as many matches, I think she's only had, how many title defenses has she even had? I don't even remember how many title defenses she's had ever since getting that title. But she doesn't have competitors to go after and challenge with for that championship. So it's something that I've been basically emphasizing for the past, I think, 3 or 4 episodes that I've uploaded. The fact that Jade Cargill's and Stephanie Valkyria's biggest Achilles heel will not be the story, will not be the way that the title is basically portrayed by them. It will be the competitors that they're gonna go after. For me, I would have left Maxine Dupree as the Intercontinental Championship on Monday Night Raw and had Becky Lynch move to challenge Stephanie Valkyria for the World Heavyweight Championship. In this instance, I haven't even seen Tiffany. I haven't seen Tiffany in the longest of time. I don't know what's wrong with Tiffany. Maybe she's injured. She's on the injured reserve list. But I would have loved to see Tiffany try to come back and try to get her title back from Jade Cargill. Obviously to no avail. But it would have been a great feud to see the fact that I took the title from you. Now I'm running such a dominant force. You can try and then try win back the championship from me. So both Stephanie Valkyria and Jade Cargill are hitting a brick wall when it comes to facing worthy competitors for those titles. They are trying to build up Jordan Grace and both Raquel Rodriguez. With Raquel Rodriguez, she is more of a threat to Stephanie Valkyria's heavyweight championship. but we need to build her up as a singles competitor. We can't have her interfering in matches of the Judgment Day while she's also having issues of her own with a champion that she put on the injured reserve list. So it's gonna be very hard to try and tell a story for the women's main titles when the tag team division is growing so beautifully. If we can just in a way find a balance to get the singles competitors and the tag team competitors to get focused on making the titles relevant. The women's tag team titles are the most relevant, I would say, they've been in the longest of time. And it's a beautiful thing to see, but we need to also focus on the single competitors and how they are going to up their game as the champions, because it doesn't make sense for Jade Cargill to have the title for a month or 2 months and then only lose the title in the first defense. That way you didn't assert her dominance, nor did you even show that going forward she can even overcome or beat certain competitors. We don't have that image. We just know Jade Cargill beat Tiffany Stratton. She's a powerhouse. She hasn't showed her dominance. She's beaten Be Fair, Michin. Like, to be honest, those are the people that have been beaten up for the longest of times by champions. Even Julia has beaten them up at some point to prove her dominance. We need new competitors. We need new faces for these main titles. And as much as the tag team division is flourishing, as lovely as it is on the women's side, we need to have the singles titles obviously shine a light shone on them, and then saying that they also matter and they're also a big part of the company. Going into the tag team division, we also have new tag team champions in the MFTs who took the title off of the Wyatt Six. Like I said, the Wyatt Six and the MFTs are also stuck in a creative mix where now the main prop, the main driving force of this whole feud is Bray Wyatt's lantern. Bray Wyatt's lantern has been a sacred tool ever since I've known Bray Wyatt. It's been something that he's kept at his side. I don't think Bray ever used it as a weapon at any point. Bray has just always placed it in front of him as a shining light in the darkness, so to say. So it was an interesting angle that they've taken, but I would have liked that lantern to affect Solo Sikoa. Like, I would have liked it to have a psychological effect on Solo Sikoa. The moment he touched that lantern, I wanted something to, in a way, possess him into doing. But now it's just used as a prop where he's just playing mind games with the Wyatt Six. What I would have loved is the moment that Solo Sikoa touched that lantern, something comes over him. Something starts making him paranoid, starts making him speak in riddles, start basically pulling away from his own family. I would have loved to see that, but we're going in the angle where that lantern is more of a distraction to the Wyatt Six and an opportunistic tool for the MFTs. So for me, I would have loved to see the fact that, you know what, immediately when Solo Sikoa touches that lamp, he becomes attached to it. He doesn't want to let it go. Yes, we're seeing the images of him not wanting to let it go, not wanting the Wyatt Six to get it back. It's basically harnessing the power. But I need that lantern to affect him. I need it to affect him psychologically, mentally going forward, to in a way start pulling him away from the MFTs, basically start creating that bit of tension. And this instance, Solo Sikoa is behaving more like the cult leader Bray Wyatt than what Uncle Howdy is supposed to be. So it's almost like the roles are reversed. And yeah, it's a great initiative to put them in, but I would have loved to see that lantern have some sort of effect on Solo Sikoa. So now the Wyatt Six are no longer the tag team champions. The MFTs are the tag team. Do they continue feuding with each other going into the Rumble? Or do we then have another focus where Solo Sikoa obviously is going to start going one-on-one with Uncle Howdy? I think maybe that's basically the premises of what they're building going forward. But for me, I would love to see that lantern have some sort of effect on Solo. I need it to have some sort of effect to basically bring back the lure, the aura. Obviously, that lamp doesn't need to be explained. It doesn't need any sort of magical, but I would love to see that lantern basically change the character of Solo Sikoa. The other thing I also wanted to get into was the United States Championship Open. It's okay now, guys. We can let it go. There's no need for us to keep continuing the United States Championship Open challenge. I think it's time for Melo to obviously get a story. And I think he's going to get a story going forward because The Miz is now interjecting himself in the matches that Melo is having. I think the previous open challenge that we had with Eli Dragunov obviously being their competitor, the Miz made himself a factor in that match. And I think going forward, the Miz versus Melo is basically the right decision for me. You can never go wrong with the Miz. It doesn't matter whether you have to put Miz as a heel or as a babyface. You can never go wrong with the Miz. And I think him and Melo have an excellent ring chemistry. And for the first feud, I would love to see it maybe go up until maybe the end of the Royal Rumble or even Elimination Chamber, to have Melo and Miz entangled in some sort of story where the Miz is saying to Melo, why are you not thankful for the fact that I helped you retain that title last week against Eli Dragunov? Why are you not thankful that the first person that was willing to put you under their wing when everybody else was turning their back on you was me? Like I said, the Miz doesn't get as much respect as he should. The Miz doesn't get enough, like I'm like it doesn't get nearly enough respect as he should. And the things that he has done in this company, he's accomplished, and his consistency in this company. The fact that this guy has been active for more than, I think, 15 years in the WWE, hasn't been injured. When he's needed, shows up. And if you need a babyface, for me, there's two superstars in the WWE that you would need to have in your story to make someone either a relevant heel or a relevant babyface. If you need someone to become a relevant heel, you need Rey Mysterio. Everybody loves Rey Mysterio. Anybody that has ever turned against Rey Mysterio went on to have one of the most phenomenal babyface runs or heel runs of their careers. And you need The Miz. If you have a babyface that's upcoming and you need him to get over with the crowd, you interject The Miz, and I'm telling you, they will have one of the best babyfaces runs in the history of the WWE. Like, these two people are the constant, basically, catalysts of any heel or babyface run. And for me, I love the fact that The Miz is so available to go into matches and against the young up and coming superstars. So for me, I wouldn't mind seeing a story with Melo. Let's cut the open challenge. Let's actually have a story for the United States champion and the United States Championship. Huge shout out to Trick Williams. Trick Williams has come onto the scene and he made a huge, I'm talking about a huge splash. Like the splash that Trick Williams, I think the only person to ever have this much of an impact on their debut, dude, I think the last person to do this would have been Keith Lee. I think Keith Lee, well, the management at that time shafted him, but Keith Lee, when he came onto the scene, was about that hot. Huge shout out to Trick Williams. He's basically adapted to that main roster like he was built for it. He is built for the main roster, and I love it for Trick Williams, and I wish him nothing but the best of success. Another talent that's going to be showing up on the main roster is Obafemi. Now, to the wrestling gods, to the wrestling fans, to wrestling YouTube, to wrestling TikTok, to wrestling Instagram, to wrestling X, to the whole IWC, the gods and the ancestors that watch over the sport with everything that they are. To you, Triple H, to your creative team. I'm talking to you now. I'm literally talking to you. Don't fuck this up. Please. I am begging you guys so much. With Obafemi making his appearance on the main roster, do not fuck this up. We have a chance. We have one of the biggest chances, I think, in the longest of time that we've had in the number, like, for the past 5 years. This is the biggest chance that we have in developing a monster heel. This is our only chance. This is the stars have aligned. The stars have aligned. The Royal Rumble is on its way. Elimination Chamber is on its way. WrestleMania is on its way. The stars have literally aligned. Obafemi relinquished the title. He's now coming onto the main roster. The stars have aligned. We have a monster heel on our hands. Let's use him to the best of our ability. Let's not let him rot away in the cafeteria. Let's not let him away in the catering section. We have a monster heel. Let's use him. Brock Lesnar, I think, is the closest thing to the impact that Obafemi can make. Like Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi would be a heel versus heel, monster versus monster match. We have a chance to create the next Brock Lesnar. We can't replace Brock. That's obviously undebatable. But we have a chance to create the next generation's Brock Lesnar. Every babyface's worst nightmare, Obafemi. Please, I am begging you guys so much. You have no idea. Obafemi, promo, in ring, technicality, size, power, ferocious. I'm literally begging you guys so much. Please don't fuck Obafemi's main roster debut. I like literally I don't like swearing, but I need to emphasize the fact that this is the significance to create the next big thing. This is how big this thing is. We have an opportunity to create the next big thing. So please, WWE, I'm begging you, do not mess Obafemi up. And yeah, basically going into the Rumble now with the women's division, it's a bit hard to choose the winner for that Rumble, the Royal Rumble. I think the only person that has heat going into the Rumble would be Jordynne Grace, because she obviously has a story with Jade Cargill. So for the men's Royal Rumble, I'm going Seth Rollins. For the women's, I'm going with Jordynne Grace. And if anything, if Bianca Belair returns, at the Royal Rumble, I'm going for Bianca Belair. But my first pick would be Jordynne Grace. And basically the reason why I'm basing it off of Jordynne Grace, not that she's a favorite of mine, or anything, she's literally the only woman on the roster that has any story going into the Rumble. And I would love for her to win that one and face with Jade Cargill. But Bianca Belair needs to make a return, in my opinion. And I think she would be the perfect opponent for Jade Cargill. So yeah, that's just some of the things that I wanted to go through. CM Punk obviously giving an opportunity to Finn Balor this week for the World Heavyweight Championship. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't think Finn Balor can ever get back to the momentum that he had when he first won the Universal Championship. I think they're viewing Finn Balor more in the sense of superstar enhancement mentor role. And I don't think they will ever put Finn Balor in a point where he is the Universal or World Heavyweight Champion. It would be great to see him. He's still imperfect. Like, growing up would always have this thing of, when I grow up, I want to have a physique as well built as Randy Orton's. But when you look at Finn Balor, you're like, does he even have fat? Like, does he even have a fat body count? Does he even have a fat percentage? But I think it's time to make peace with the fact that Finn Balor may never actually ever hold a singles titles going forward. And I'm okay with that. It's a hard pill to swallow, given the fact that he was the first Universal Champion. It's a very hard pill to swallow, given the fact that he was the first Universal. And the run that he had going into that Universal against Seth Rollins. Man, what a time to be alive. But I think it's time we made peace with certain superstars just basically ending up at the point where they're just for story enhancement, mentoring, and building and escalating feuds. Dominic Mysterio I haven't seen in a while. I wonder if he's doing okay. Judgment Day, yeah, the less said about the Judgment Day, the better. Going forward, I think we'll just have to see what happens with the Judgment, because I don't even think the Judgment Day has a certain direction that they're going to or that they're aiming for. It's just the Judgment Day, the faction that's literally there, and they're just there for vibes. It's just there for vibes. CM Punk is still the World Heavyweight Champion. Braun Breaker seems to be fighting with management every week. It's just like one of the weirdest things to see. But I would love to see Braun Breaker back into the circuit of going for that World Heavyweight Championship again. Like I said, for the predictions that I've had, I've seen Braun Breaker going into the main event of WrestleMania as the World Heavyweight Champion. But as long as my GOAT Seth Rollins stands and he can fight for night one, all the better for me. It doesn't matter whether it's with Braun Breaker or CM Punk. Either way, as long as Seth Rollins is in the mix. Where my Roman Reigns fans at? What's the plan for the Tribal Chief this year? Now, I commented on one of the posts. They said, "What was your hottest take for 2026?" And I said, my hottest take is that Roman Reigns returning every week will be the peak of his story this year. There's nothing that's probably going to interest us going forward. For me, I've already mentioned the fact that I would love to see Roman Reigns face turmoil. I would love to see Roman Reigns face adversity, to go through all of these things alone without the bloodline around him, just basically being a man on an island alone. I would love to see that with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. One of my friends texted me just before I recorded this episode, and he said, John Cena's body is not even cold yet, and they're already sending AJ Styles in. AJ Styles has made it very, very clear that 2026 is the last year that he's having as an active WWE superstar. So for me, I don't mind AJ Styles retiring at the event that he debuted at on the WWE. Obviously, Gunther has made it, he's up the stakes with him. And personally, I don't want AJ Styles to retire at the Royal Rumble. I know it's poetic to retire at the event that you debuted on, but I would love to see AJ Styles have his last match. Basically, I'm changing my thoughts, as we all are, and as we all can. You know, I would love to see AJ Styles retire at Survivor Series. I'm holding on to nostalgia. I'm holding on to the memories that this man has made for us. I would love to see AJ Styles versus Team AJ Styles versus Team Gunther. They're probably going to have their war games. They always have their war games. But I would love to see a traditional 5-on-5 AJ Styles versus Gunther. And AJ Styles with the help of his, I would say, how would I put it? His greatest rivalries. He just had a banger match with Shinsuke Nakamura. If Shinsuke Nakamura was on the same team as AJ Styles against Gunther and his team, I know I'm daydreaming, but it's always good to daydream once in a while. A 5-on-5 traditional match for AJ Styles with his closest competitors, whether it be from TNA, New Japan, to join him versus Gunther's team, who probably won't have that much of a team, because I don't think there's anybody that likes Gunther at this point in time. But yeah, it's been an illustrious career for AJ Styles. The impact that he had on TNA alone, I mean, if you go back and watch old TNA wrestling and you watch anything with AJ Styles in it, you're guaranteed to stick to the screen and you're guaranteed to enjoy TNA most. We just want to say thank you, AJ Styles. Thank you for the great memories. Thank you for the great matches. Thank you for the banger matches that you've put on, for the slogans that you have made, for the matches that you've put on with John Cena, Shinsuke Nakamura, the people that you've basically bought into. Like, a lot of people didn't know the Bullet Club. A lot of people didn't know Gallows and Anderson were part of that club. So we just want to say thank you to AJ Styles for everything that you have done for the company and that you have given to us as the WWE fans. But yeah, I think this might be the end of the road for AJ Styles. He's going against somebody who basically has the formula to ending careers at this point in time. And that's Gunther, the new age legend killer, as I like to call him. Obviously, they're naming him the career killer, but he's a legend killer at this point in time. I think like even Randy Orton might be in danger of this guy, but Randy's still going. I think Randy still has another 2 years in him, maybe 2 title reigns, you know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Royal Rumble. Who would you like to see winning the Royal Rumble this coming Saturday? What are your predictions? What are your hot takes? Comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all so much for the interactions. And hopefully maybe the next episode that we do shoot, everything is back up online. Phone maybe stops acting the way that it is now. and we can start recording and then basically editing the videos the way we are. But this is just a raw episode, guys. Thoughts, let's interact. Follow me on X, follow me on Instagram, follow me on TikTok, and follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Let's grow the channel. Thank you all so much for the love, guys. Let's talk more wrestling, and as always, peace.